For 66 years, one American company built the refrigerator that came standard in your RV. This summer, that company filed for bankruptcy. Norcold, the name behind the propane fridge in millions of campers, went under with more than 10,000 fire claims against it, and a debt pile north of $300 million. Here's the part nobody selling you an RV wants to explain. The thing that killed Norcold was not bad luck. It was a component called the cooling unit, the sealed heart of every propane absorption fridge, and it has been starting fires and ending warranties for decades. The strange twist is that the replacement is already sitting in most new RVs on the lot, and it costs about the same or less than the branded box the dealer wants to sell you. The technicians who pull the old propane units out every week have quietly settled on a short list of cheaper fridges they trust, and almost none of them wear a famous RV badge. So before you spend $1 replacing or upgrading, you need to understand one phrase, the cooling unit, because whether a fridge has one decides everything: the fire risk, the leveling, the running cost, and which of these is actually worth your money. To understand why this matters, you have to know how the propane fridge became the default in the first place. For most of RV history, campers went places without electrical hookups, and battery banks were small and weak. So the industry standardized on absorption cooling, a design that runs on a propane flame instead of a motor. Two companies, Dometic and Norcold, owned that market for generations, and the propane absorption fridge became as standard in a camper as the axle underneath it. The problem showed up in the fire reports. Starting around 2010, safety regulators issued recall after recall on these units. The defect always traced back to the same place, the cooling unit, and the fix on offer was never a real fix. It was a switch that shut the fridge down before it burned, not a cure for why it overheated in the first place. Then the ground shifted. Around 2018, RV makers began quietly swapping in a different kind of fridge, one built around a compressor, the same way the refrigerator in your kitchen works. Cheaper lithium batteries and solar made it practical. By the time Norcold collapsed this year, the propane fridge was already a dying breed, and the trade had moved on without waiting for the headline. So what is a cooling unit, and why does it matter to your wallet and your safety? In a propane absorption fridge, there is no motor and no moving parts. Instead, a flame or an electric element heats a sealed loop of ammonia solution inside the cooling unit up to around 350 degrees. That heat drives the whole cooling cycle. It is clever, it is silent, and it has one dangerous habit. When the fridge is left running while it is off level, the solution pools, the loop overheats, and the anti-corrosion chemical inside breaks down. Over time, the metal fatigues, a weld cracks, and the refrigerant leaks. If the heat source is still firing when that happens, the temperature can climb past 800 degrees, the steel softens, and flammable gas escapes. That is the fire. Now compare that to a compressor fridge. It has no boiler and no flame. It makes cold the way your home fridge does, with a small 12-volt compressor, and it simply does not care if you are parked on a slope. There is no cooling unit to overheat, so there is no fire mode built into the design. But the compressor fridge is not free of trade-offs, and here is the number almost every buyer ignores. It runs on your batteries, and the figure that matters is the continuous amp draw. A big 12-volt fridge can pull around 20 amps when the compressor is working. That is the real price of the cheaper box, and it is the measuring stick we are about to hold every one of these fridges against. Let me set the benchmark first. The fridge the dealer will steer you toward now is the Dometic DMC4081, the brand name 12-volt compressor unit. It is a genuinely good fridge. It holds 8 cubic feet, it runs on a variable speed compressor, and at the time of filming in August of 2026, it lists for $1,386. Every price in this video is an August 2026 snapshot and will drift over time, so treat them that way. Keep that benchmark number in your head because every fridge here gets measured against it. Start with the one hiding in plain sight from a brand you already know from your kitchen. GE makes a 12-volt fridge built for recreational vehicles, boats, and solar homes, the GPV-10. It is a compressor unit, so no cooling unit, no flame, and it works off level just fine. Here is what makes it interesting against the benchmark. The GE holds nearly 10 cubic feet, almost 2 more than the 8 cubic foot Dometic, and it sells for around $1,250, roughly $130 less than the branded RV box. More fridge, less money, from an appliance company that has been building refrigerators for a century. It drops into a standard cutout. It has a real semi-automatic defrost, and owners consistently report that it simply runs. The catch is honest. The GE is built like a home appliance, not like an off-road component, so it wants a solid 12-volt system behind it and clean wiring, at least 10 gauge on the run, or it will struggle. And the warranty is 1 year, shorter than some. But as a straight value play, more cold box for fewer dollars with no RV badge tax, this is the one the trade points to first. That already tells you something, and we are one fridge in. If a plain comparison like that saves you from overpaying for a badge, that is exactly what this channel is for, and subscribing is how the next one finds you. Next is the fridge that is probably already in the newest campers on the lot, and it comes with a lesson attached. It is most often sold as the Everchill, a 10.7 cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridge, the biggest box in this group, and a direct drop-in for an old propane cutout. Now watch what happens when you go shopping for it. The exact same fridge shows up under at least 3 different names. It is the Everchill. It is also sold as the Furrion Arctic. And the parts company Rec Pro lists the identical unit as the Rec Pro Everchill. Same dimensions, same layout, same compressor, 3 badges, and the price swings wildly with the sticker. Rec Pro's own 10 cubic foot fridge sells for about $1,300, while the Everchill badge climbs to over $2,200 at one RV outfitter for the same class of box. There is no cleaner proof that in this category, a big part of the price is the name on the door, not the hardware behind it. The fridge itself is a solid drop-in with a big capacity and reversible doors. The honest catches are that it is built in China, with a wider spread in quality control. Some owners report cosmetic damage on arrival, and it pulls around 20 amps, the high end of our measuring stick. Buy the cheapest badge of this exact unit you can find, wire it properly, and you have most of what the branded box offers for less. The third option is the one the RV industry never advertises because there is no RV brand on it at all. It is a plain residential refrigerator, the kind in an apartment kitchen, run through an inverter off your batteries. The appeal is pure math. A basic 10 cubic foot residential fridge, something like a Frigidaire frost-free top freezer, sells for about $330, a fraction of any dedicated RV unit. Add a 2,000 watt pure sine inverter to run it, roughly $190, and you are still all in around $500 for the most cold storage per dollar on this whole list. And because it is a compressor fridge, it shrugs off being off level like the rest. The catches are real, and you have to respect them. It still needs a battery bank behind that inverter, which is a cost and a space commitment. The doors have no travel latches, so you have to secure them for the road. And it is not braced for constant vibration, so a rough life can shorten it. This is not the pick for a rig that moves every few days. But for a stationary or lightly traveled setup with power already in place, it is the cheapest real fridge here, and plenty of technicians will tell you so off the record. The last one looks like the best deal here, and it is the one to be most careful with. After Norcold went bankrupt, its own 12-volt compressor fridge, the Polar 10, started turning up heavily discounted as the stock gets cleared out. As of the summer of 2026, it is selling at marked down and inconsistent prices from one seller to the next, which is exactly what a bankrupt brand's leftover stock looks like. On paper, it is appealing. 10 cubic feet in a standard cutout, a quiet compressor, a proper travel latch, and now a fire sale price. Measured against the benchmark, the hardware is competitive. But this is where the trade view saves you money by telling you to walk away. The company that makes it no longer exists in a form that would honor a warranty, and the parts pipeline for a bankrupt manufacturer dries up fast. A fridge is only as good as your ability to fix it in 3 years, and that is exactly what you give up here. The discount is real, and it is real for a reason. This is the difference between a cheap fridge and a false economy. The cooling unit was never the Polar's problem, it is a compressor unit, but the company behind it is, and a low price cannot buy back a parts network that has already closed. Here is the dimension even careful buyers miss, and it is not on any spec sheet. It is parts and power. On parts, the lesson of Norcold is bigger than one brand. A fridge from a company that is shrinking or gone is a fridge you may not be able to repair no matter how good the price looked. Before you buy anything here, ask one simple question. In 3 years, who sells the control board when it fails? For the GE and the residential route, that answer is easy, because those are mainstream appliance makers. For a bankrupt RV brand, it is not. On power, remember our measuring stick? A cheaper compressor fridge is only cheap if your batteries can feed it. Pulling 20 amps for hours means you need real battery capacity and ideally solar. And if you do not have it, the fridge that saved you money at the register will cost you a dead bank at midnight. This is also the one place a premium can be worth paying. A high-efficiency unit from a maker like Vitrifrigo or Isotherm sips far less power. And for a serious off-gridder, that lower draw is the rare upgrade that earns its price. And if you truly boondock with no solar and a small battery, this is the last honest case for propane. Absorption's one real advantage, running for days on gas with no battery drain, still exists. It just comes with the cooling unit attached. So strip away the badges and the brochures, and the choice was never really propane versus electric. It was a fire-prone cooling unit versus a compressor, and the whole industry has already voted with its wallet. The fridges the technicians quietly install are not exotic, and they are not expensive. They are a known appliance brand that gives you more box for less money, a drop-in unit sold under 3 names where the cheapest badge wins, and for the right setup, a plain residential fridge that costs a fraction of anything with an RV label. The only one to fear on this list is the bargain from the company that just died. Before you spend anything, do 2 things. Pull the panel and find out whether the fridge you are replacing hides a cooling unit or a compressor so you know what you are really dealing with. Then add up your battery and solar honestly, because that number decides which of these you can actually run. Get that right, and the cheap fridge is not a compromise. It is the one your RV should have come with. Next time, we are tackling the other thing that quietly drains your budget on the road. RV internet, the real story on Starlink versus cellular versus boosters, and what you actually need to pay for.